Hello, 5th graders. This is Miss Advina. We are ready to get our synapses snapping and our dendrites stretching. We are starting Unit 3 today, and we're on Lesson 1. Our objectives are, I will be able to connect the essential question to information I already know, work with a group to ask questions and think of ideas, play a specific role in a group discussion. So let's get started. Here we are. So this is what your new book looks like. It says Cultivating Natural Resources. And I got to remember that you can't see my pointer, so I'm going to take out a pen so that you can follow that. Cultivating Natural Resources. Take a look at this picture and see what you see in it. What do you imagine that this unit will be about? Take a moment and pause, and I'll be right here when you get back. Okay, 5th graders. So we're going to open up this book to the very next page, and I want to go back over some of this. First of all, there's some tips for text annotation right at the front of your book. This is behind the front cover. As you read closely for different purposes, remember to annotate the text. Use the symbols below, add new symbols in the space provided, so we can actually come up with our own down here. We want you to underline to identify a key detail. Put a star to start an important idea in the margin. Write numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to mark a sequence of events. Circle a key word or phrase. Put a question mark if you have a question about the information in the text. Write your question in the margin. And put an exclamation to indicate an idea in the text that you find interesting. Comment on this idea in the margin. So this is what an annotated text would look like. This is the table of contents. We will be starting with the Share Read 1, the structure of a corn plant. So that's where we're going to go now. But before we get there, we need to look at our essential question. The essential question appears right up here on page 3. How do we decide which resources we should develop? And look at these pictures. Think about what they might be telling you. Why did the author include these particular pictures at the beginning of this particular unit? Go ahead and pause and think about that for a few moments. You might even want to write or jot down a few notes. So, a resource is something found in nature that humans can use to help us survive and thrive. Earth provides many resources, such as wood and metals for building, oil for energy, and plants for food. Over time, humans have learned to make the most of our resources to help us lead healthier, more enjoyable lives. When resources are not managed carefully, however, problems can arise. The environment can suffer, or a resource can be put at risk of running out. In this unit, we will learn about a resource that's familiar to most of us: corn. Informational texts will teach us about the science, history, and industry of corn. Opinion pieces will help us explore the issues surrounding the ways we manage this valuable resource. In the end, we will have enough information to decide for ourselves what we think about the many uses of corn and the future of farming in the United States. Now, I feel as if I know a lot about corn already. Corn on the cob is one of my favorite things to eat in the summer. I've eaten corn and other products too, such as tortillas and chips. I've noticed too that many food items at the store are sweetened with a kind of corn syrup. I know what corn looks like inside and outside the husk and what it tastes like. I've driven past huge fields of corn that seem to stretch out forever. I guess it's easy to believe corn is an important resource because it seems to be everywhere. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a short video. And I want you to write or draw questions of ideas that you have about the video. Think about what new ideas or images it brings to mind that are related to the essential question, and we'll get to asking your friends and peers about these questions and maybe examining them a little closer. Listen for domain-specific vocabulary that you might have trouble with. So just listen very closely to what words they're using.
Cultivating natural resources. Settlers of the United States were fortunate in that the sea coasts were a plentiful source of fish and that landscape was abundant in forests. When oil was discovered deep underground, a new industry boomed. Yet, after the fish are gone, trees are cut, and the wells run dry, what happens? How do we decide which resources we should develop?
Okay, boys and girls, so let's come on back to our text. And at this point, I want you guys to talk amongst yourselves and think about how can developing resources help us? How can developing resources harm us? And why do humans use so much corn as a resource? Now, some of the words that I heard in that video that are domain specific were cultivating, landscape, and industry. See if you can use some of those words when you're discussing this with your partners. Well, that's it for right now. Now it's your turn. Let's keep those synapses snapping and those dendrites stretching. And I want you to get with your animal group so that you guys can start discussing this. Go ahead and go to your OneNote, and you'll find this under your close reading tab under week 11, the structure of a corn plant. So take a look there, and you'll actually see the table where you can fill out your initial ideas about those 3 questions I asked. How can developing resources help us? How can developing resources harm us? And why do humans use so much corn as a resource? I want you to put some of your ideas as well as some of your partners. So have fun learning, boys and girls. And I will be back up at the podium soon.